AP, man, Aboriginal Power. It's always an honor and a pleasure, bro, have you on the platform, bro. We about to have a great conversation. Your text message, bro, to me about, hey, bro, I'm trying to talk about this Charlie Kirk situation. I really want to, break this down. I was super excited, bro. So first off, man, how you feeling? Second, bro, what were your thoughts when you first saw that viral clip of Charlie Kirk talking, man? He just got hit right in the jugular.
Man, peace and blessings. I'm paid to watch. Stay halito to all the indigenous Aborigines that's listening in. Shout out to all the viewers worldwide, truth searchers and truth seekers that's going to be tuning into this podcast as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling absolutely fantastic, brother. Very, very productive. But to get into this whole Charlie Kirk situation, we haven't seen a assassination of this magnitude as far as a political figure in some time now. It's probably the first one we've seen in our generation.
Facts.
The whole situation is a little murky. Obviously, they have found the alleged killer, Tyler James Robinson, Utah residents. But I'm starting to see a lot of shift in energy after this Charlie Kirk situation.
Facts.
A lot of blame is being pointed to indigenous Aborigines as if we're to blame for it, as if Black people are to blame for it. And so I want to say that we have absolutely nothing to do with the situation. But we are going to talk about the situation. Charlie Kirk made it his business to exploit Black high-profile murders throughout the years, and oftentimes justifying the murder against an indigenous Aborigine. So one of the things that he talked about is he liked gun violence, and he felt like a little gun violence is going to be okay in order to keep our guns. Thank you for your sacrifice. The second thing I will have to say that he stated is that he don't like empathy. That was one of his biggest speeches. And so we're not going to give any as far as the indigenous Aboriginal community. Anyone that I feel like who mourns a bigot, who I feel like is an open racist, is a racist themselves. So maybe that's just what we're looking into. I've seen a couple of rallies after the situation, Brother Cam, supportive of Charlie Kirk. A couple of rallies. And in these rallies, it was white men fight back chants. Did you get a chance to see that?
I have.
Before we get going further, what do you think about that?
Man, it's like, bro, so many things, right? It's so crazy how Black people, Aboriginal people to this land get blamed for everything, even when, bro, we have no hand in it. To this point, when you hear about Utah's governor at a live press conference saying, I was praying and hoping that it wasn't one of us, just to find out that it was. You talking about, bro, one of the whitest states, if not the whitest state in America, in Utah, and one of your biggest people is murked, live. So yeah, man, I just think, right now, white America, it's just crumbling on its own, eating itself amongst each other, just like how we saw during the Civil War, pretty much all over again. That's what I think about it.
And I believe white America is getting a wake-up call, not only because it was a huge blow to white America, because it was a huge blow to the systematic racism that undermines get pushed. See, they're not allowed to say certain things, so they put people in a position to be able to say these certain things, and they'll mold and groom a particular face for this particular perspective. And the face that they had molded and groomed happened to be Charlie Kirk's. Charlie Kirk was the face of supremacy in America. He went around to college campuses recruiting while also demoralizing people that went against his opinion. I've never seen anyone go anywhere and have debates or have conversations and be 100% right every time and never want to acknowledge the fact that they're could be wrong or possibly is wrong. So when someone fails to acknowledge that, that means that there's an agenda being pushed. You know, when I looked at the video, and I've come through it several different times, right? Where there's even some conspiracies out there. We might even touch on some of those as well. But when I come through the videos, I didn't see too much of an indigenous brother in sight. I'm talking about, well, I've seen a lot of people hauling tail up out of there, and I didn't see an indigenous brother or sister in sight. And so that it made me think about it. Sometimes things happen for a reason. He was asked a question about mass shooters and how transgenders is the majority of mass shooters, which if you do guys do your research, the last 10 mass shooters were all transgender or gender fluid. Okay. And as he was asked this, he was diverting this answer to still bring up indigenous peoples. Because when he was saying gang violence, now that's a code word or a nuance to talk about indigenous peoples. You see what I'm saying? So he even went to the grave trying to demoralize indigenous peoples. And sometimes the ancestors is not going to settle for that. And I've starting to see within the last year or two that a lot of people have been invoking their ancestral names. A lot of people have been saying names that haven't been said in generations, talking about people that haven't been talked about in 40 to 50 years, 80 years, 100 years in your genealogy, and it's provoking a sense of energy and protection amongst the indigenous peoples. And so the most deprived, the most indoctrinated, the most attacked people in America doesn't have any protection, but it seems like the ancestors is making their way around to protect the indigenous peoples, you know, in some form of way. I'm starting to see that.
Hey, P, brother, you were cooking because, man, I'm going to tell you why. To that same point, if you think about it, there's no coincidence. And I would say probably within the past, let's say 2 to 3 years, 2 to 3 to 5 years, right? More indigenous people have been waking up to the truth, having these conversations about our roots being to this land. We've been seeing our ancestors spiritually, whether you see the natural disasters that's happening, plantations that's burning down mysteriously, all these weird things happening. Do you think that our ancestors, again, like what you were saying, Charlie Kirk was asked a question about mass shooters and transgenders, and he tried to convolute that to talk about our people. In the moment that he tried to do that, got hit right here. Do you think our ancestors on this land are working overtime right now?
Yeah, sometimes when you talk out the side of your neck, you know, sometimes you get things put on you. And so, like I said, with him using that particular argument to talk, when he was asked about transgenders, he was diverting it to talk about Black people. And even in the form of him diverting it, the shooter turns out to be the same thing that he was being asked initially about transgenders, mass shooters. In this particular case, not a mass shooter, but a political assassination, if you will, falls in the same category. You know what I'm saying? It was literally one of their own kind. They literally don't have any room to point the blame at anyone else. And like you said, the governor said he wanted to. He wished he could put it on somebody else.
He prayed. He prayed tonight.
He prayed. And it still didn't get answered. So I feel like, you know, everything happens for a reason. I feel like if he pushed freedom of speech, if he invoked and wanted everybody to have these particular rights, then, you know, I feel like indigenous people, aka Black people, should be able to talk about him freely on the internet as they will. Should we show any empathy? No. Why should we show any empathy nobody has showed any empathy to any of our brothers and sisters that we lost, or loved ones that we lost? You know, we got posts from Charlie Kirk going back to 2010. You know what I'm saying? Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, you know, George Floyd, and countless amounts. There's dozens. I just did a live stream the other day, and I probably played like 8 different incidents where he totally justified and for the lack of arguments, clout chase off of high profile indigenous murders, Black people that was murdered, unjustified. And he rationalize and try to make justification for those murders. That's only something that a bigot would do. So at the end of the day, I feel like our people have nothing to worry about. We're just going to sit back and watch the show. America is crumble. I also seen the interview that his wife did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen that. That didn't seem like a speech of memorial of sadness. It seems like a rally of them good old boys.
That's
I
right.
heard a couple cold words within that. I heard that my husband's mission will forever be, it will be continued. I heard that you will hear battle cries. You will hear the code. You will know what to do in the time when it's to do it. So I'm hearing certain code. It didn't seem like a sobbing wife. It sounded like a lady who was taking the next position to lead the next race war. You understand me? And like I said, he was the face of white supremacy. A lot of these groups put him in position, and funders put him in position to say things that they quite couldn't say, or they put him in position to say stuff that they couldn't articulate to say. So he was able to articulate these racist perspectives and these and implement them into these conversations as far as politics and at these universities. Oftentimes you'll catch somebody wanting to have these conversations with somebody on their level so we can get in depth. He went around to colleges with people who still developing a perspective and probably don't even really have a clear understanding of politics in general. And he will use these fake statistics, these over exaggerated racist talking points into the universities. And we've seen it time and time again, almost being a bully to some effect, if you will. So.
Listen, brother, I agree wholeheartedly. You know, to your point about his wife, seeing his wife, how she's not as sad and, you know, she's trying to use these moments to use, you know, political enthusiasm, right? It kind of started making me think, like, was this a designated hit? Do you feel like Charlie was actually targeted on purpose to use him as this martyr to then make people ride even harder for a Trump, for his wife, for that party, for that ideology? Because even Trump, as you saw during his campaign run, whether it was staged or not, him taking that shot made people more evoked to vote for Trump. Oh, he's strong, he's a leader, all these things that strikes emotion. Do you feel like Charlie Kirk's was a designated hit? Is that?
That's a good question. That's
Thank you.
actually a beautiful, beautiful question. I actually do believe it was a designated hit, and I believe that the FBI is actually giving us a fabricated story.
Right.
To be quite frank, I don't even believe that they actually got the correct shooter. I believe it was
I
multiple
agree.
people involved. As a matter of fact, when it first popped off, there was an old man that was taken out by the name of George Zinn. George Zinn was arrested at 9/11 for claiming to be one of the terrorists. He was arrested at the Utah political track field. He was been arrested at tons of events, and usually the first guy to be arrested at all these events. He's a crisis actor. You see what I'm saying? You can go and look this up right now and do a simple Google search and go look up George Zinn and from Utah. You're just gonna give his whole rundown. You see what I'm saying? So. I think that these were strategic. I think that in the last 6 months, Charlie started speaking against Trump. He started speaking against Israel, and I believe that he knew that if he spoke against them in certain reasons, now him being in certain political seats in America and having this allyship and him being the voice of this new political movement, possibly the new president is what they're claiming.
Yep.
His conversation about Israel could dictate the relationship between the United States' new generation. So he plays a very valuable part when it comes to the relationship between America and Israel. All right. Once he started going against Israel, it's almost worse than the Israeli government political figure going against Israel at that point. You see what I'm saying? They're holding him to a higher standard. And I believe that even him announcing that Trump is being a little weary about bringing out the Epstein files. This is less than 2 months in this conversation. Ben Shapiro also brought that up in the conversation, saying, do you think he should have did that? And, you know, I almost heard in that conversation, I wish we could add in some of these clips. I might even send them to you so we can do that.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And so, so we can hear some of the conversations that's being had. It's almost like he gave him a warning, like, you should be doing this. Almost 6 months prior to that, A best friend of Charlie Kirk tweeted that Charlie Kirk is in fear for his life and possibly feel like he could be killed by Israel if he spoke against Israel publicly. This is a tweet that's now, since his death, that went super viral, over 100 million views, I think. So it's crazy. You can look it up. And that guy who actually made that tweet, which is his friend, actually did a video statement confirming that, yeah, it is what it is. I need nothing else to say about it. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think it was a hit, possibly from Israel, possibly from Hamas. The IDF does hits
Yeah.
like this all over. They does it like this all over. I've seen hits just like this in Palestine recently. Looks just like it.
AP, bro, I'm gonna tell you this too, man. Like this whole thing is so multifaceted, right? Like I've been learning throughout past week or so on the right wing, they got internal beef. You got Groypers versus this side who felt like Charlie Kirk wasn't far right enough, that he wasn't racist enough, that he wasn't bigoted enough. So that is a whole nother group that wanted to see him out as well. And to your point as well, he was already young, 31, I believe. He could have come president around 34, 35. And he already had the young folks, he already had the college campuses, which then poses a threat to who? Donald Trump, JD Vance, all these other people. So very multifaceted. Do you think that right now that racism and these racist white supremacists are eating each other right now, where you got this side versus that side that feels like you aren't racist enough? Do you feel like we are at a point right now in American history where white America is fighting amongst themselves again?
I believe that's what it's always been. I believe sometimes
Yeah,
they muddied up the water and confused us. But the biggest threat to white people around the world, and especially in America, the biggest threat to white people in America is white people themselves.
that's
You can't,
fast.
because even when you brought up mass shooting earlier and he was bringing up gang violence, can you name me one gang that went around killing a mass of white people?
Can't
Gangs kill
name it.
other gangs. It's
So
gang stuff going
it
on.
shouldn't even concern you. Yeah,
It shouldn't
yeah.
even have been brought up. So, and
Wow.
for the most part, when we deal statistically, murders in America, European males rank high at murders in America. You see what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So I don't know where these statistics is coming from. In reality, that black people commit majority of the crimes. That may be true.
Yeah,
They get charged for a lot of these crimes, but they don't be convicted of a lot of these crimes. A lot of these people are
mm,
false crews. Then you got other immigrants from other places, maybe from Africa, maybe from the islands, and they get wrapped up with the statistics of black people in America, and it all get lumped in on one particular group of people. So a Jamaican and African will go commit murders, and it won't get put on African and Jamaicans. It'll get
yeah,
put on black Americans. And so we're left
yeah.
to deal with the statistic garbage in our yard. You see what I'm saying?
Indeed,
So
brother.
even that's a little faulty.
Black Americans, right? You know, hearing you use that term, one thing that I truly love right now is how our people are falling back in love with ourselves. Why is it so important to draw that line of, hey, we are a different group of people when it comes to Black Americans and Indigenous people on this land? Why is that so important opposed to being African Americans, opposed to viewing us as this one big diaspora group? Because the same way that a person can be from Grenada, from this country, that country, or it can be from anywhere, right? That Black person, let's say Jamaica, right? You can be viewed as Jamaican. But if I say I'm Black American, that's not a thing. Why not? So why is it so important for us as a people to know who we are?
Because it's like any other in need of a scenario. I'm gonna give you a metaphor. In
Yeah.
any scenario where it's emergency, right? And it's a house, it's emergency there, you're gonna have first responders. You're gonna have your police, you're gonna have your ambulance, you're gonna have your firefighters. These are the main three that's gonna come there. Each three of those come with different vehicles and conveyances to get there. Each of them have different methodologies, and most importantly, each one has a particular identity and uniform from which they put on to be singled and different out from each and every one else. We're the only people in America that not allowed to have our own uniform.
Wow.
In the case of emergency, if everybody has the same uniform, how you know who's who and who's supposed to the job supposed to be done? So at the end of the day, we got to be in our proper uniform. We are the most innovative, the most influential people on the planet, especially when it comes to inventions and when it comes to culture. You know what I'm saying? And that alone should give us enough room to be able to have our own identity and to be proud of who we are. And I believe it's a beautiful thing to start seeing people tap into who they self and loving themselves a little more. Because the true power is not just money. It's not just about having a gift of gab. It's the knowledge of self.
Mm-hmm.
You can have everything in the world, not know nothing about who you are and where you come from. You're going to still feel lost. You're going to still feel like there's something missing. And so the true power is knowledge of self. And I'm glad to see a lot of people sparking that interest and starting to march that path. It's beautiful.
It's heavy. That's heavy, brother. Charlie Kirk, man, again, back to his whole dynamic situation of seeing how he's trying to be used as a martyr right now. Very interesting to see.
Like he's Martin Luther King. He's no Martin Luther King. He's
Talk
no
about it.
Malcolm X. He's no Martin Luther King. He is a bigot, man. Like I don't understand the hype about this. Like he's not Martin Luther King. He's not. He's not Malcolm X. You understand me?
Yo,
It's not going to
it's
be a
great.
holiday about Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry. Give it up.
Yo, we got flags going, Hagstaff, Trump talking about the Freedom Medal of Honor, all these things, right? And it's like, wow, they are rewriting history in real time, the same way, when we talk about George Washington or this person, that person as the quote unquote founding fathers, but not who these people truly were. Seeing how history is trying to be rewritten right now. Was this going on 200 plus years ago with these founding fathers to where we weren't there, but certain people can change certain things to where, to your point, if they put in textbooks 5 years from now that Charlie Kirk, he was an activist and similar to Dr. King, 150 years from now, they might believe that. Is that what possibly happened as well in the past too, AP?
Yeah, they understood that we are creatures of amnesia.
Wow.
We just have a habit of amnesia. We got to record things. We have to have it documented for the next generation, and them understanding every 100 years things reset on the information and knowledge, and they're able to rewrite things in for the new generation to look at, and then maybe even believe that it was accepted historically, even though it wasn't even talked about. So, though I believe most certainly, without a shadow of a doubt, that has been going on since the breach and encroachment of American soil. That's a fact.
Bro, it's crazy, man. From seeing, bro, that shot, one kill right in the jugular, right? To your point, it goes from old man, then we finally go to the shooter who they found. Do you believe all these stories that he was dating transgender, all these things, or do you think that they're trying to fit a narrative here with the shooter? And honestly, point us to a shooter that may not even be the shooter.
I mean, it sounds like a war that they're trying to satire the whole trans movement. So think
Right.
about it. The question was about a trans. The bullet has something to do with trans.
Yeah.
The guy was allegedly a trans. He's chatting in servers that's alleged trans. So all you hearing is these cold words that's constantly get popping up. It shouldn't even be part of the conversation, but they're constantly putting it in because the FBI is allegedly reporting on it. And so I don't think the guy's the shooter. First of all, he was using a Mauser 30-06. That's not a breakaway gun. Those takes tools. It takes time to break those down.
Yes.
According to the FBI files and what they released, he fired a shot, and then within 2 to 5 seconds, he broke the gun down. Impossible. Physically impossible.
No military background either.
I've played tons and tons of video from military experts that said that they couldn't even do it in 25 seconds.
Nah.
With tools. So all he had was a screwdriver. And that was allegedly left on the roof, and allegedly they have DNA from that. But when you look at the footage, the FBI reported that he had the gun in his pants leg with a change of clothes in his backpack. So when he made the shot, he broke down the gun, put it in his backpack, jumped off of the roof, ran in the woods. Now, this is where things get a little iffy, because when they located the firearm in the woods, it was wrapped in a towel, fully assembled. So not only did he disassemble it and took it apart, he put it back together again in the woods. Who throws away a gun and puts it back together before they throw it away? That's the first red flag, right? That's the first red flag. The second one is they said that he drove to the university. This is from the FBI statement. They say he drove in a gray Dodge Challenger Charger, maybe. Maybe I'm misquoting, but it was a gray Dodge something that he drove to the campus with. All the footage that we showed, he didn't pull it. He was walking through a neighborhood headed to the campus, and it shows him running in the woods away from the campus after the event. At what point in time do he gets in his Charger and leaves? The second thing that says in the report is that before he got to the university, he had on shorts and a maroon t-shirt. All the footage, even leading up to the roof, shows him in black with Chuck Taylors on. Well, then they said, well, he changed clothes when he got to the roof. It still would have showed him with the shorts and the maroon shirt going up the same steps that they caught him on footage leaving down now. You don't see it. So, I mean, they're just dropping the ball right here, which is why you see the Senate bring an emergency meeting with Kash Patel, director of the FBI. Mm-hmm. And he was getting scrutinized and put on a hot seat today. If you guys didn't get to see it, it was all live. I did stream quite a bit of it.
Hey, bro, in a matter of time, he'll be called a DEI hire. So don't worry about that. They're going to get him up out the paint, man. Kash Patel. Bro, I was playing Angela Yee's show, right? And she had on Joy-Ann Reid. And Joy Reid, bro, she dropped some great information about Charlie Kirk. Okay. Dropped out of college in junior college. So he didn't even make it to college. So he was in junior college. Dropped out of that. No associates, right? But he was discovered by a political pundit who then invested $4 million plus into his organization, Turning Point USA. And that right there made me realize, oh, he was discovered. He was groomed. He was basically created.
Did you look into see who that company was?
Forgot the guy's name, but bro, please break it down. I'm listening.
I forget the brother's name, and I've seen an extensive video on it, but he definitely had a Jewish name that he changed.
Yeah.
To shorten
he did.
It. And so we know he was getting funded by Israel. At least an Israeli, you know what I mean? Somebody from that's representing the Israeli culture. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of his big funders, like I said, have these sentiments. He has certain missions, and when you go against that, you put yourself in a compromisable position. And I believe he thought he was too good to go to do certain things.
Bigger than the program, huh?
He thought he was bigger than the program, what they say. And obviously, they seen that. I've even seen a couple conspiracies that it maybe even some of the alleged men that were standing behind him. I'm pretty sure you've seen those videos.
Yeah, and the hand signals and things like that.
Signals, the hat, the arm signal.
So look, bro, I'm gonna tell you something, man. When I first saw that video, the dude in the black polo with the shades on, he caught my eye immediately. Because I'm like, why is he standing there? But he couldn't see that it was a sniper. It's kind of weird.
Because the area that they saying the sniper come from, which is an elevation, it would have blew his shoulder off. It wouldn't have just came straight out the neck and hit upwards. Only way it can have a trajectory of going up unless it's coming from a downward position. So we know that when you see the bullet leave out, you can see it go up. It's going up. It's not going at a downward motion. It'll hit that shoulder. So we know it's not coming from where they're saying at an elevated point of view. And that's just me looking at from leverage, understanding how angles go at certain heights. You very well could have been done with a setup mounted gun on a camera with zero recoil, zero fire. They got a lot of stuff out here. You know what I mean? I'm not the guy to throw out conspiracy theories, but the one thing that is kind of iffy that I didn't see a lot of people talk about, which I'm gonna send you the clip of this too, because this is gonna be crucial for this part. There's a third guy that's set up by the camera who does a funny little motion with his hand, and they saying he had a palm pistol that went off.
Oh, so I could see that.
They said it was a palm pistol, and they saying he lined it up, and his movement to the bullet is all there. I'm gonna see.
That's cold.
We're gonna add that.
That's cold.
Yeah,
I could see that though. Wow, bro. So man, for all the people that's tuned in, watching, listening, if you can, brother, like break down how I would say like of a deep web this government is, because I don't think people truly understand that they could take somebody out at any time and then tell you that that person did it. I mean, Martin Luther King, right? His family won that court case in 1998, proving that. But people still don't talk about that publicly. So, bro, if you can just break down of like how serious this is with the government that they can take people out if they need to.
they set up boundaries to where they're protected by the same system that's in question. And so it's hard to get to certain areas to be able to challenge the integrity and the accuracy of some of these stories and reports. The FBI, the government in general, has been corrupt. Back in the 40s, you'd have asked the everyday person, do they trust and believe in our government? 90% of the people would have said yes. You
Yeah.
ask people in 2025, which there is a statistic records out, 40% of the people says yes, they trust. So 60% of Americans doesn't trust the government at all. You see what I'm saying? And so they're setting up these particular tactics. They're doing these particular things, and everything that you see is not what you think it is. Everything is covert. It's a solid Cold War going on. There's a secret beef between America in Ukraine, and you already know the relationship that America is building with Russia and the beef that Russia has with Ukraine. Then you see that this young lady, right, Ariana Zarutsky,
Mm-hmm.
recently fatally injured in a North Carolina train station, was a Ukrainian refugee. But from my research, that they said that she was a wife and a daughter of a very high political Ukrainian government political worker in the government. And allegedly, she committed treason. And in protection for the Ukrainian government, the American government put her in protective custody. And so they saying that this possibly was a hit.
Bro, this stuff is crazy, man. What level of stress do you think us as a people waking up to who we are, being true to this land, puts on this government and also white supremacy? Because as you see, they're going through a lot right now. They're taking a whole lot of L's. But what do you think us as a people saying, man, nah, we're not from there, not from there. I'm from here. What type of
It's the
stress do you
ultimate
think?
power.
That's what I was, yeah.
It's the ultimate power. No, and none of the talking points that they have used in the past don't work when you really figure out who you are. That, oh, well, go back to Africa, in word, that don't work with us. Oh, you
Mhm.
was the slave and brought you over here. That doesn't work with us. Once you understand who you are as indigenous peoples in America, a lot of those narratives go out the window. They're non-talking. They're not valid. And so the pressure we put on the government from our people waking up is one of the biggest things that they fear. It's the waking of the sleeping giant. We are collectively the giant as one collective body, as indigenous peoples, because as time go on, more people that's distant from each other prospectively, the more they grow and understanding their aboriginal understanding and perspective and lineage, the more they're going closer together. So people that once
Mhm.
beef, that thought that they could never be together, is going to be in close cahoots. And we're starting to see that within small groups and a micro group on the social media conscious forums, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on YouTube. Uh, I just want to be able to see more of our brothers coming together to give that message out to the people. I want to see a platform where we see some of the top hitters, the top indigenous brothers, all on one platform. All on
Mhm.
one platform where we're dropping the heat, we're bringing it to the people, we're showing camaraderie, we're showing harmony amongst our groups. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we might have a few differences, we might say stuff a little different, but we understand overall we're the indigenous peoples of America, and we got to get into political seating, and that's what they fear. Is one of you people like me or you to get
Mhm.
into political seating, and ultimately the
Yeah.
highest political seat is presidency. We haven't seen that ever in the history of this country. We haven't seen an indigenous Aborigine in the head seat. We haven't seen a so-called Black American in
Yeah.
the head seat. And I believe that's what they fear the most, honestly.
AP, man, who would you say is the real American? Reason being, right? If you think about it, white Americans view themselves as I'm an American. They don't say I'm European American. For us, we're quote unquote African American. This person is Asian American. But white people can just say I'm an American. But who is the real American, AP?
Well, the true American and the only American is who America describes who are the Americans. So when you go to a Webster 1828 dictionary and you go to the word American when it was first internationally applied, meaning everyone abroad and in here wouldn't understand what the term means. It was applied to copper color races,
Right.
Aboriginal peoples here prior to Europeans. So when we talk about an American, you cannot be an American unless you're part of one of the copper color races or one of the Aboriginal peoples here. You can be a United States citizen. You can be an inhabitant of North America. You can't be an Aboriginal. You can't even be an American. You can't be considered American. You're a United States citizen if you're not Aboriginal or one of the copper colored peoples. And this is according to their definition.
Yeah, going against their own words. Empathy, right? Hearing that
Well,
word from you.
let me
Cook,
let me
cook, cook.
let me requote. It
Yeah,
does give a little credence to them because I do forget in
yeah.
the definition it says American copper color races apply to the copper color races, Aboriginal peoples, but now apply to the descendants of Europeans.
Wow.
It does state that in the definition. It does state
Hey,
that.
it's that one little loophole, huh?
That one little loophole. But
Yeah.
then again, I always question myself and say how we know that we're talking about white Europeans. Because then I go into a little deeper history where ancient Aborigines from America went to that part over there. How we know that they ain't the same people coming back and they giving them their proper identity back again? I don't know. So that's just another bag that I get into. So we got to take it for a grain of salt,
Man, bro, hey, that's a whole nother episode right there.
That's a whole nother
Indeed.
episode.
Indeed, brother. Man, empathy, seeing how, that word has been thrown around of whether we should have empathy or we shouldn't, hearing you even bring up that word, previous interviews from earlier today, talking about this situation. People use that word, empathy, right? As a people, why should or shouldn't we have empathy for a Charlie Kirk and people that share that same sentiment as a Charlie Kirk? Why is that so important to have empathy or to not have empathy?
Right. So I feel like people, if you're going to have empathy, you got the right to do that.
Right.
And if you're not going to show empathy, you got the right to do that. Me personally, I feel like we shouldn't show any empathy for something that has been nothing but a negative perspective, a negative outcry, and hasn't brought anything beneficiary to our people.
Hmm.
There's been nothing beneficiary that Charlie Kirk did that our people benefit off of. There's been no upliftment. There's been no morale gain. There's been no elevation. There's been no morals. There's been no motivation in nothing that he said. It's actually been demoralizing and lie after lie after lie. At what point in time do you just say, it is what it is? Sometimes you see some shit that you just gotta. Hey, sometimes it might not be good for you, but it was good for me. You see what I'm
Facts.
saying? So,
Facts. Bro, what do you think makes them, especially like white supremacists and racists, so tied to this land that isn't theirs? Because I'm seeing how, when they repost Charlie Kirk and they say, I'm an American, this is our land, we're fighting for our freedom and our rights. These people feel ownership, they feel tied to this land. AP, spiritually, like, why do white Americans, especially racist white Americans, Charlie Kirk, I saw how he was trying to use the Bible to justify dominance in North America, in America more specifically. Why do they feel so spiritually tied to this land? What is going on in your own opinions?
a lot of them make up delusions of grandeur. One of the biggest ones was John Roth.
Mm,
The Pocahontas story. We
yeah.
all heard about the famous Pocahontas story. According to new data that came out in 2018, according to actual diaries from people that was allegedly with him, he never even met Pocahontas. He never even met any Powhatans. It was all
Just
a
like,
made up story
hey,
of
just like how they try to do
delusions
right
of
now, huh?
grandeur.
Just like how they try to do right now, huh?
Just like
With
how they
Charlie Kirk.
just
Yeah.
like what they're trying to do now. So they making it up as they go. And then they put it in the history as if it's true. And we believe it. Oh, yeah, John Roth married Pocahontas. He took her out to this. He never even seen none of them. And this is from his own men that was part of his crew, said he was a hypochondriac and he had delusions of grandeur. This is from their own logs. They had contact with earlier groups prior to him coming, but they had cut off ties with them. That came into a whole nother era of American history that don't even get talked about. It's called the starving time. It's the actual point of history. I might break that down on our next show because I think it's worth listening to. Because when we cut back on people, we stop being attached to people. We stop helping people out. We just say, you do your own thing. They start to eat themselves alive, literally. You see what I'm
It's
saying?
the starving time, AP. Wow, bro. It's the starving time. That's what's going on right now.
It's the starving time right now. We're looking at it right now in history. This is going to be in history.
That's a bar, bro. That's exactly what's going on right now.
They're
Wow.
eating themselves alive right now. And like I said, this is probably one of the biggest wake up calls that white America has seen in a while. This was a huge blow to the leading class that was planning on putting themselves in position to control the narrative and to deprive the indigenous people. That's been one of the biggest missions since the doctrine of discovery. Control, manipulate, and take from all indigenous peoples around the planet. We just happen to be the ones that's a little more resilient.
Mm-hmm.
We just happen to be
Yes,
the
sir.
ones that said, listen, we're not going to go nowhere. We're not going to flee. We're not going to go to nobody else's homeland. We're going to stay right here. You know, um, it's funny how history repeats itself in funny little ways. And then when you get back and observe it, you can constantly see it. Because right now, you got people like Charleston White, who's openly admitted to being conservative. He's now bashing Charlie Kirk. Now, this could be a clout, this could be a clout move. But when you listen to some of the things he's stating, these are true statements. Just because a lot of people might quote, and a lot of Black people do quote this, make America great again. They think that's a Trump quote. As soon as you quote that, you're a MAGA guy, right? You're a MAGA guy. We're Americans. Why wouldn't we want America to be great again?
Yeah.
We're the only Americans on this continent. We're the only real patriots of this continent. We're the only people that has fought in every war from both sides, created more inventions, more innovations. You can't get no more American than a Black American and then an indigenous Aboriginal American. You can't. This is why they call us the soul people.
Yep.
You make soul music, you make soul food. And the term America means rich soil or soul, place of the soul. Rich soul, excuse me. That's what it means. Rich soul is what America means. So us as Americans is just embedded in us. We are the soul of this country. You understand what I'm saying? So,
Jeez, bro. So during this time, how do we stay safe as a people? Because as you saw to your point earlier, Charlie Kirk, his last words was talking about us, even when we weren't part of the question. Here in Atlanta, HBCUs had to get shut down for the day because of death threats, bomb threats, shooting threats, all these things. Bro, we talking about white supremacists threatening HBCUs all the way in Atlanta when a
for
shooting
what?
happened.
I can just imagine it. Like they got Charlie. I'm gonna call down there to these N-word schools, these
You
jigger
already know.
boots.
You already know. You already know. So what should we do as a people? How should we stay safe, insulated during a time to where we're getting blamed for the starving time?
That's a very, very good question. I guess it's gonna be different ways. The way I say it is always keep your eyes open, stay aware, and being able to stay vigilant when it comes to your people. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes we'll see something and be haphazard. We see it. Sometimes you gotta be a little more vigilant.
Yeah.
We lack that right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I don't know who that brother is, or I don't know who that sister is. Sometimes you got to step in, and when it's a group of people doing it, then it makes it a little more softer for the cushion. You feel what I'm saying? It makes the blow a little softer. So,
fact.
we got to just start being able to gatekeep our culture and being able to love ourselves a little more. That has always been our protection.
Mhm.
When we loved ourselves a little more, when we shot with ourselves a little more, when we communicated with ourselves a little more, that was the best protection we ever had. When we started going against that, when you want to go see what other people talk about, when you want to go just go shop with these other people, let's go hire you doing other stuff outside of your normal area, is when we started catching the short end of the stick.
Yes, sir. AP, bro, what do you think makes white Americans so insecure? Like, what I mean by that is this, right? You see, Charlie Kirk makes money traveling the country talking about black people, basically.
Facts.
You see Fox News basically make their money disparaging black people all day, every day. Why are we
True.
always on their minds and what makes them so insecure?
I believe they're looking for that next big thing, and they don't know what it is. They call it the rise of the next Messiah. It could be
Paranoid.
the paranoid
Yeah,
rebirth of the next savior. But what
yeah,
it is I don't think they understand what it is. They have spent billions of dollars trying to collect your thoughts. They don't think like us. That's why they don't create like us. They can't think like us, so they can't invent like us. So it's a lot of things that they're trying to tap in that they just can't, they don't got it. That's why they created a quantum computing computer 5, 6 years ago worth $90 million so they can try to capture your thoughts.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? This is why they spend billions of dollars for police and cameras to patrol your neighborhood. You got surveillance on you 24/7, police coming around 24/7. They're watching you. They're trying to see, like, what is going on. These people are a freak of nature. You see what I'm saying? And so not only that, they spend billions and millions of dollars to try to protect themselves against us. For some strange reason, they spend billions of dollars on police vests and mace and guns and new bulletproof cars and stuff.
They
Why?
got tanks too, man.
What are we doing to
Yes.
y'all? Did we hurt you guys? Maybe we hurt y'all real bad in history and they just wrote it out and we forgot about it. Because we, like I
That's right.
said, we're all creatures of amnesia. Maybe they know something that we don't know.
There you go. Bro, man, we see National Guard troops deployed in DC now. Trump, he's making tweets like it's an album cover of I'm going to Chicago. Then he's talking about Memphis. But Charlie Kirk, he got hit in Utah. Why don't we see a National Guard out in Utah, AP, bro? You was talking about dog whistles, all of that. Why haven't we seen the National Guard being deployed out in Utah? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the National Guard thing is a very, and they're calling it cleaning up the streets.
Right.
This is them trying to clean up the streets for some strange reason. Also, if you're a constitutionalist, which I'm a heavy advocate for the Constitution, by the way, uh, it goes against our constitutional rights. You know what I'm saying? He's employing uh, federal guards and state orients with no emergency, no threat to homeland security, nothing. So it's almost like he's trying to see what he can get away with and what he can't get away with. I don't think it's really a big thing. He got ran out of DC quick. They put a lawsuit in, he was gone.
Yeah.
They already filing the lawsuits and they just ready to file them as soon as they touch down in Chicago. And I'm pretty sure Memphis is going to do the same thing. It's illegal.
Why is America falling now? Like, if we really, just take a step back, we can even start from when the Europeans first landed over here, right? And touched this soil. Why now, at this moment in time, do we see America finally crumbling? And like when I say America, I'm not talking about us as Black America, Indigenous, but I'm talking about white America, all of them. Why is everything crumbling down now, in your own opinion?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think that possibly it could be just that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Everything is on timing, whether we understand it or not. Maybe it's just that timing. America's only been a nation for less than what, 220 years,
250. Yeah, it's
250
200.
years,
I think almost
give or
250, which
take.
is such a small, like that's crazy when you really think about it.
That's
Like in world
small.
history, yeah,
Yeah, we might. Hell, my we got ancestors that own land longer than that.
yeah.
Like literally, like we know the names of ancestors and our direct lineage that own land that's in our family longer than the nation's been a nation. It's
Wow.
crazy. So I think it's just time for the people to the true American. I don't think it's just a spiritual time. I think it's a time for all the nations to think. I'm like, man, they're tired of it. Who is these guys that's claiming to be American? These ain't the ones we was hoping to do business with. So I think the world just waiting on us to get back into position. I think they waiting on us. I think they wait on us, the indigenous.
Hey, to your point, brother, here in Georgia, right, they had a big Hyundai plant, right? And I think they had sent over some South Koreans, if I'm not mistaken, to, train all the new
Oh,
hires, all of that.
I seen that.
Bro, a white lady called ICE, and now, bro, South Korea, they like, we ain't doing business with y'all. So to your point, whose man's is this? Like, who is this? So
Like, who
yeah, you're
men's
right.
is this? Yeah, I
Wow.
seen that. Uh,
Yes.
I gotta do some more research on that. But yeah,
Yep.
ICE came and got a bunch of South Koreans.
All of them. Pretty
They was
much all of
illegal.
them, bro. Yes.
All of them was
Yes.
illegal.
No, all of them were legal. That's the problem, bro. He could have started a war off of that.
Why did he do that then? Oh, he beefing with South Korea right now?
No, because there were Asians they were trying to say American jobs, but they were there to train the Americans who were new hires to show them because they came
It's
from
a
Hyundai's
Hyundai
headquarters.
plan.
Right.
Trump jumped the gun.
Exactly. Bro, a multi-billion-dollar project. And he just messed that up. That would have
Damn.
created jobs for Americans when they were trying to say that, all the jobs are like overseas. So that goes right back to your point about messing up
Yeah, like
trade
who
and things
men's
like
is
that.
this? Like
Right.
you messing up the routine. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
so I think they're just waiting on us to get back into position, man. I think we're going to get into a position that we never seen. I think we're going to start showing the type of camaraderie that's never been seen. We're waiting on the next one right now. And I think once we get in position, it's going to forever be us in position. Is what
that's
I'm
right.
thinking. Uh,
Which is what they're so afraid of, to your point.
I think that's what the crumbling is. I think this is a telltale sign, almost like an omen of
Mm.
this is your time. I mean, what else do they got? We're literally watching them eat themselves alive. I mean, I thought Bloods and Crips was banging red and blue hard. These guys are beyond it.
Facts.
They're sending hits in like no other. You understand what I'm saying? One
Facts.
shot, one kill. That doesn't even seem real to me. And what's crazy is this is almost a year after attempted shots and murders on Trump.
That's what I'm saying.
One at the political event, one at the golf course that happened a few weeks later after that.
Right.
Why are they not scanning roofs at this point? Do they not scan roofs? They forgot?
He had to go, bro. I'm telling you.
That's what
He
I'm
had to
thinking.
go.
I'm thinking that it was a direct call from Trump. Like I said on my
I
live
do
stream
too.
yesterday, I said Trump put the call in. He got to go. I can't do it with none of our men. We're
Yeah.
gonna link in with Israel because they owe us a favor.
Yeah.
They owe us a favor.
Woo.
The
Uh-oh.
IDF come in and make the swift job. Get away clean. Airport, private jet out of there. We gone.
In and out.
He's back in Gaza knocking down women and children.
Yo, because if you think about this, right, brother, it's like Donald Trump was asked about Charlie Kirk, I think like the following day or maybe like 2 days later. You can look this up, everybody who's watching as well. He literally changes the subject to the White House ballroom and how great it's going to be. For a person that was in your cabinet, who you personally knew, who helped pass policies with you, who helped curate ideas, terminologies, dog whistles, to your point, for you to change the subject immediately, not talk about his family, his kids, that means you was part of it. That means that you have no empathy, back to that word. How do you not have empathy for a person that you knew and who fought hard for you?
People
That's what
say that
makes it very
Epstein's
suspicious,
still
bro.
pulling hits behind the strings. That's what they say. They say
And
Epstein
Trump, man, he is very jealous of anybody who can take his shine. And Charlie, he was young, he was in his 30s, he was married, had the kid, he was checking off all the boxes.
for what they wanted.
Exactly.
Yeah, he checked the boxes for everything that they wanted. He had a
Wow,
few
man.
black friends that they could fit in. Candace Owens, you
Yep,
understand what I'm saying? And a bunch of Africans that he hired to come speak.
man.
Usually, when you see Charlie Kirk speak and he had black people speak, Just look
It
at the
ain't black
last
people.
names of them. Every one of them was an
Yeah,
African or
yeah,
non-Black American, is what I'm saying. No offense to
yeah.
my African brothers out there.
Not for sure.
Uh, but everyone was an African. They don't. They're not.
Yeah,
They're under a certain creed. They got a certain approach to it, and obviously they had a certain agreement with him. So
yeah.
I think our people just got to sit back and watch the show. It's going to be more
That's
to
it.
come. I see that Myron Gaines canceled all his shows.
All of them scared. Ben Shapiro did as well.
Why y'all scared? I was going to show up to the next one. I was going to show up to the next one, camera ready to go. I want to catch y'all in candy camera and see you guys' faces. But yeah, these guys should be scared.
Yeah,
Not because of a physical threat, because of our ancestors are now here to protect us. See,
come
they
on,
weren't
bro.
able to become protectors because you didn't say their name.
That's right.
You was praying to Allah, no offense. You was praying to Jesus Christ. You was praying to Buddha. Not once did you say your great grandmama name. Not once did you say your great granddaddy name. Not once. They were sitting around waiting the whole time. The reason you're here today is because of them. Not once did you say their name. But now that we are, now we're doing genealogy. Now we're checking our lineage. These names is being provoked. They're being said. And so the work is working.
Bro, it's so crazy, man, because AP, I kid you not, my very last question that I was about to have for you was about the ancestors. So it's crazy that you even brought that up. Bro, you gave us an hour straight, free game. Very last question for you, brother. If our ancestors and your ancestors could talk to you directly right now during this moment of time, this crazy political climate, all of this, what words of advice do you think that they would give us as a people right now?
Hey, you in Atlanta. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna use Atlanta slang. I feel like they would say, lock in, twin. Lock in, twin. This your time. Now, on some real stuff, I think they would be telling us
Thanks.
to really just lock in and really
Yeah.
get comfortable. Get comfortable with yourself. Get prepared to lock arms and be in camaraderie and harmony with your brother. Because at the end of the day, y'all seen it time and time again. We are all we got.
Ooh.
We all we got.
AP, brother, next month we got to do something on the starving time, bro. Hit
We
me
got
up
to.
because,
We got to. We got to.
bro, tonight it was one of the ones. Everybody in the comments, y'all already know y'all gonna be showing them love because, bro, Aboriginal Power again. That was fire, dog. That was fire, bro. Where can everybody follow you? Cash App, donate, all that good stuff.
Man, y'all can go follow me on YouTube, Aboriginal Power. I got my original channel back, man. It was going off the
Let's
YouTube.
go.
It was going off
Let's
the
go.
internet for like 3 years. They took my
Yeah.
channel. I recently got it back. So let's get it back in the algorithm. Let's get it back out of the shadow ban round. Go subscribe, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It's Aboriginal Power, as you see it on the screen.
Yeah.
Y'all can follow me on Twitter. That's the same thing, Aboriginal Power. Instagram, Aboriginal Power. Twitch, Aboriginal Power.
Let's
Cash
go.
Out, Aboriginal Power as well. So
Let's
make
go.
sure y'all support the movement. Appreciate you, Cam, man. You really putting in
Always.
work, bro. Like I
Thank
said,
you.
I admire your work, bro. Like you
Thank
one
you,
of
bro.
the goaded ones, bro. Like
Thank
this
you.
is a very golden platform, bro. I don't even think you really know what you got, bro. It's almost like the Vlad, it's the no jumper version of the
And that's what I
consciousness
want.
conversation.
Yeah.
And I can't
Yeah.
wait to get down there and lock in.
Oh, it's gonna be
Because
crazy, bro.
when I
Yeah.
like I got some things in mind. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk about it. But
Yeah.
it's gonna give you that feel.
Yeah.
We bringing that energy and you
Come
got it,
on.
bro. And you
Yes,
doing your
sir.
thing, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you, bro. Keep
You already
working.
know.
Keep doing what you do. Shout out to the Empress out there too, just doing
Yes,
her work
sir.
behind the scenes. We
Thank
appreciate
you,
you,
brother.
bro, for sure.
Hey, you already know, dog. Look, next month, starving time. It's gonna be
We're
fire.
gonna cook. Yeah, this is gonna be one of the
All
ones.
right.
We're gonna cook that one. Shout out to all my Powhatans. I got
Yes,
some
sir.
history for y'all. All my
Hey, let's do it.
Algonquins, I got some history for y'all. So tap in.
Hey, let's make it happen, brother, man.
For sure.
AP, I salute you, King. Thank you, and you be safe. All right.
Yeah, you
Peace.
too, brother. Peace.